Hi everyone, welcome back. So today I'm finally going to present my vlog for FanFest 2023 in Las Vegas, Nevada, which happened several months ago. I think since then there's been another FanFest in Europe and there's another one I think happening in Japan. Literally by the time this video even comes out, the one in Japan will have already happened. That's how late I am. I know it's been a while, it's very delayed, but hopefully some people will still be interested in knowing like how it went, the rundown of things, the behind the scenes, and all the chaos in general that happened around FanFest. So as many of you probably already know, getting a hold of tickets for the event was particularly difficult, though I wouldn't have known that initially because what happened is me, my husband Jimmy and my bestie Alex all applied to get tickets. It's a lottery system and one person can get access to 2 tickets maximum. So to maximize our chances of getting these tickets, we applied, all 3 of us. We also had my bestie's brother apply for 2 tickets as well. I asked my brother to do it too, but he never went through with it because traitor. But it's okay, we didn't need them in the end. But I was also in contact with a few friends of mine and we were gonna like swap codes or swap tickets as needed. Out of the 3 of us, all 3 of us got tickets. If you don't know this, free companies of up to hundreds of people applied to get these tickets. And out of everybody in the free company, I've heard that only like maybe up to 1 to 10 people managed to get tickets. So when I say that it was actually really hard to get a hold of those tickets, I'm not kidding. When we found out that me, my husband, and my bestie Alex all applied to get tickets and managed to all win the lottery, we were astounded. At first I thought, well, I guess there wasn't that many people applying for them. Turns out there really was. We just got incredibly lucky. So obviously that means that we had more tickets than we needed. I bought my tickets for me and my husband through My Lottery Win. My husband was very kind and gave the codes for the purchasing of the tickets to a friend. And then my bestie Alex went ahead and bought his ticket. But because you could buy 2 tickets, I asked my friend Tony from California if he wanted to join us on this adventure because it had been a while since I had seen him. He plays Final Fantasy and I thought it might be fun to go all 4 of us together. When you bought your tickets, they were associated with your account name, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember much. It's been a while, but I remember that there was this fear that some of the code swapping wouldn't work because you might be asked to show the name associated with it once you got there or something along those lines, but it wasn't an issue. I know a lot of people who used codes from other people who'd won the lottery and managed to get in no problem. So that turned out to be a complete non-issue. With the tickets bought, we were finally ready to book our flights, but also book our hotel. We would land on the Wednesday, have one day, Thursday, to hang out in Vegas because it's a bit of a travel, so might as well enjoy it. And then the con would be Friday and Saturday, and then we would fly back on Sunday, which means that we would not attend the Orchestrion Symphony. That was on Sunday. We did not attend that one. We decided to fly back because I had to get back to work on Monday and so did my husband. So we booked our flight to leave on the Wednesday, land on Wednesday somewhat early so we could probably grab a quick meal or something in the evening or just hang out in Vegas in the evening and then fly back Sunday not too late, like mid-afternoon. For the hotel situation, my husband's parents own timeshares in Vegas, so we asked nicely if we could use some of them to get a hotel room close to the convention center. So the one that we ended up booking was called I didn't write it down in my notes. That was silly of me, but I'll write the name here. And the way it was set up from what we could see online is it was a room that could fit 4 adults. It had a fully shared kitchen and living room and then 2 separate bedrooms with 2 separate bathrooms. I've traveled to Vegas before with some friends and we were crammed in these tiny little rooms. So having each our bedroom space and tons of space to like prepare in the morning for cosplay or have someone use the bathroom while someone else is in the other bathroom doing makeup and stuff. That's me. I'm that person putting on makeup for cosplay. That's me. I cannot thank my in-laws enough for letting us use their points because otherwise we would would not have been able to afford something so nice. So there's one big hotel in the middle, which was, from what I can tell, where most of the guests and cosplayers were staying, because that one was essentially a short, maybe 5-minute walk outside to get from the hotel to the convention center, which was very important given that during that time there was a huge heat wave going through Vegas. So it was really, really, really hot. So if you're going outside with these giant cosplays, and let's face it, it's Final Fantasy, so everybody's costume was ridiculous. It's very dangerous to stay outside for too long. Nonetheless, our walk was not too bad because we could walk from our hotel to the other hotel, which was about a couple minutes walk, maybe like 5 to 7, which was excruciating at times, but still a fairly fast walk. And then you could walk inside the other hotel to get to the convention center, which then was another, like, honestly, like 2-minute walk. Is literally like you walk outside, cross the street, and you're in. I think overall we had it pretty good. I'm quite happy with the situation we were given and the fact that it was really cheap. And by cheap, I mean pretty much free. The convention price itself was not too bad. I mean, it's pretty pricey. If you have like small local convention of 3 or 4 days, you'll know that was pretty expensive. But it did come with like a full goodie bag, which I'm sure a lot of you have seen online. Came with like a full bag, a magnet, a pen, which I use on the regular. I think it's so cute. And also like a squishy grape thing based on the old meme grape, and I think a few other knickknacks. I think the goodie bag was pretty good. I enjoyed it thoroughly. So yeah, so now that we had everything settled, we had our tickets, we had our room, we had our flights booked. The excitement was palpable. Everybody was on a complete high. It was time for me to finish all my costumes. No, I was not planning on participating in the Glamour to Life. I was too scared to lose too much time lining up for it when there was no like in-game prize or in-person prize to win from it. I decided I didn't want to risk it. So I decided to wear 2 costumes. I'm sure you've seen all the vlogs for it. It was Y'shtola from Shadowbringers. I worked on her explicitly for that con. And then the other one was 2 delivery Moogles. The point of the Moogles essentially is to go around and deliver mail to the different cosplayers that are cosplaying either as their Wool or other characters from the game. So we had all this mail that was essentially like a letter to the character they're cosplayed as from another character from the universe. Because that's what the delivery Moogles do in the game, right? They go around and they deliver mail. So there was some funny gag messages, there was some really heartfelt ones, and there was some more neutral ones. And that was all planned for Friday, and for Saturday it was going to be Y'shtola. And if you watched all my vlogs, you know that when I did the staff so that it would be separable, so it could be separated into several pieces. So most of my costumes went into my big suitcase. I tried to protect the Moogle wings with layers of fabric from other costumes in the big suitcase, and then I put my staff in my carry-on, hoping that that would prevent it from getting real busted. Pray to the cosplay gods would not happen. That was the situation. That is how I did all my packing, and then we were ready to go to FanFest 2023 in the deadly heat of Las Vegas. And yeah, so you might be wondering, how did the travel go? So just letting you know now that a lot of this was filmed on my phone or my husband's phone or friend's phone, so the quality is not like the best, but it was easier to travel with my phone than bring a full rig because I really did want to focus on enjoying as much of the con as possible. Okay, so I can confirm that we actually ended up flying with WestJet. I would personally not recommend it to anyone given how bad our experience was with WestJet flying to Vegas. I might end up spending a lot of time just ranting about WestJet. So we had booked our flight very early. All right, it's 3:48 in the morning. Super early morning flight. We're on our way to Vegas. We were leaving me, Jimmy, and Alex from Canada, doing a layover in Calgary, and then flying straight to Vegas through WestJet. And my friend Tony, who was coming in from California, was just gonna fly his own flight, obviously, straight to Vegas. And our layover was 2 hours, which is usually plenty of time to make a layover. I have fully packed carry-on. my husband's personal items, suitcase for chicken, other carry-on, and personal bag for me. I managed to fit all of Yashtola in my carry-ons, including all of my Mughal stuff except the wings. So if my check-in doesn't make it, there's no wings. So we got there on time, plenty of time, and we find out that there's a delay in our flight because, all in all, mostly because they have a shortage of employees right now. Most airports have been running on low employees ever since the paninis. I wasn't surprised, but like it ended up being 2 hours delayed. I knew that there was no way we were going to make our connecting flight, or there was very little chances of us making our connecting flight. My initial fear was that our suitcases wouldn't make it. What didn't end up making it was our carry-on. That was the part of the trip that made me the most angry. Okay, so I didn't want to just go with vibes here. I wanted to make sure I got my information right. So back when this whole debacle happened, the standard TSA size that we could find online was 22/14 9 inches for a carry-on bag, which seems to be the most standard size for most airlines. Now the TSA seems to recommend online to check with the airline you're flying. I don't know if that was the case at the time. Not that I can remember. We did a lot of research because we were really not happy with the situation, and the TSA website offered a standard size, which it does not anymore. Now, if you take a look at the standard size for WestJet, it's 21 inches, 15/9. It's slightly wider, but it's not as long. So none of our carry-ons, which were all bought at airlines and are supposed to be standardized, could go onto the plane, which is really upsetting. So they ended up forcing me to check my carry-on, but might I remind everyone that my carry-on carried my prop that is extremely fragile since it's 3D printed prop, and the only reason I made it so that it could be dismantled was so that it could go in my carry-on bag. I got very flustered and very scared. I told them that I didn't want to check it because there was a lot of very fragile stuff in it. And the lady was so condescending, obviously. And she was wrong on all accounts. She insisted that no, nothing was gonna break. It would be perfectly fine. And the other point that I argued with her is that I was scared my carry-on wouldn't make it to the right flight, because I was fairly sure we wouldn't make our layover at this point because we were so delayed, and I was scared that the carry-on, or any of our suitcases for that matter, would end up on the wrong flight. She said, no, there's not a single chance of that happening. And so I ended up checking my bag, and off we flew to try and snag our second flight. Some people who were doing the same layover as us actually ended up running to try to catch that second flight. We just went straight to the information desk and tried to get another flight to Vegas. Now, I was really panicked at this point because Tony was arriving that same night. He was already there. He'd been waiting for us for hours at this point. Since our booking were through my husband's timeshares, there was no way for him to get access to that booking without Jimmy being there. I was panicked. I did not want him to spend the night in the airport, and there was no way he was going to book himself a room alone. Like, it's really expensive to book a room in Vegas. Two things. The people who tried to make the connecting flight got turned around because even though they made it on time, WestJet had already sold their seats to someone else. Thankfully, every single person who missed it did make it onto the last possible flight going to Vegas from Calgary. So while we were waiting in Calgary, because the second flight was much later than planned, obviously, I decided to go ask for my suitcase, or to make sure that my carry-on had made it to the right place and not made it onto the flight that was already flying off to Las Vegas without me. And I asked, and as it turns out, it did make it onto the wrong flight, because of course it did. They always fuck this shit up. I knew it. I told the girl, I was like, it's gonna make it onto the wrong flight. It was confirmed to me that it did make it onto the wrong flight. I asked them to keep an eye on it and make sure that I could pick it up in due time once we got there, and not to leave it dwindling around in the middle of nowhere. Spoiler alert, I did retrieve my carry-on. It was being stored aside along with a lot of people's carry-ons, because everybody's carry-ons made it onto the wrong flight. No, I don't want to blame the employees. I just think the company is mismanaged. We were the first one to board the plane. We deserve that. We missed our other plane.
What's a picture?
No, it's not picture. So yeah, we made it to Vegas, met up with Tony. So all the four musketeers were together, ready to have some fun adventures. Hotel was wonderful. I was very happy with the layout. There was a lot of space. And now it was time for me to undo my suitcases and see the potential damage on my prop. It broke.
What broke?
It broke. Oh, it's real broken.
It's real broken?
It's real broken. Okay, let's see. This piece is okay. That piece broke. Yeah. This piece is okay. I think if I find some super glue, I can salvage it for the weekend. But I'll have to reinforce it and fix it better at home, you know?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's very disappointing. Keep on doing my suitcase and see what else is up. So yeah, the prop did not make it back, in fact, in one piece. I was absolutely devastated. I was like, I feel like I had planned the best possible way to get it to Vegas without breaking. And then there it was, broken into several pieces. So there was only one thing to do from there. I eventually calmed down, stopped sobbing, stopped moping around, and just realign and try to fix the damage that was done. So that one night we ran an errand to get a few things here and there, a lot of liquids because it was very hot. We also got some snacks, but most importantly is I ended up buying some super glue at the CVS and bringing it back with me. The one thing I didn't have was a glue gun, which I think would have been really handy. So in a panic, I started messaging a lot of the cosplay pals that I had in the nearby hotel. And thank God for I'm Joyce Sloan, who had a glue gun and was kind enough to lend it to me to fix my props. We made plans to meet up the following day during the Dangerous Ladies event, which I'll talk more about later. And I decided to just breathe in, breathe out, and put everything away for now, focus on day one, and then in the evening of day one, just fix my props. So tomorrow I'm gonna try to fix my props and see if they can make it to the con. Otherwise, I guess I'll deliver mail without Moogle wings, or I'll go as Yashtola without her staff.
Strolla without the staff isn't as bad as the Moogle without the wings.
No, we have the palms. It's pretty clear that we're still Moogles. I think it would be fine. I have to say that it wasn't starting off on the best foot, but I still decided to take it in strides and hope for the best from there. First official day of our trip in Vegas, day one, which is also the badge pickup day, but we only had to go pick up our badges like in the afternoon, which left us with all of the morning to just do some potential fun stuff. Good morning! First day in Vegas. It's Thursday, so it's not a con day yet. So we're gonna do some fun stuff around Vegas. Today we're heading out to Omega Mart. Then we're going to do some shopping, pick up our badges at some point, and maybe try to see some friends. We'll see how it goes. Are you guys excited for Omega Mart?
Yes.
Not as excited as con stuff, but it's supposed to be really fun though. I asked my friends if they wanted to go to Omega Mart with me. I first found out about Omega Mart through Jenny, which talked about it in one of her videos where she was talking about Evermore, I think, the park. She didn't say much about it. She just kind of glimpsed over it, and I have been very curious to check it out ever since. So, yes, I am going to talk about Omega Mart. I'm so sorry. It has nothing to do with Eva 14. I'll try to keep it short again, but it was so much fun that I don't want to like just make it a footnote. I want to talk a little bit about it. Omega Mart is actually located in Area 15, which is an area of Vegas that is based off, obviously, Area 51. So it's all alien and like monster themed, sort of, mainly alien, but there is some overlap with like some kind of like eldritch horror sort of thing. And Omega Mart is inside that complex. There's other things to do in Area 15, but our main focus was Omega Mart. So we started off by Omega Mart because we had bought tickets and we had a time slot when we could go. Omega Mart is a huge interactive installation by Meow Wolf, and inside, as you're interacted with different elements, you uncover like a story that's going on, like the story behind Omega Mart. My friends had no idea what it was going in, and they were incredibly pleasantly surprised.
Emily and I are choosing complete opposite ones. I would have gone spleen vents.
I'm also a
Cartographer
beyond, and I have a serious lack of desire. When you first start, you have the main part of the installation, which is like a weird looking grocery store where you can already tell that there's some spooky shenanigans at work with like some glitches. I think at first we all thought it would be mostly that, but no. Once you start really getting into it, there is so much more to uncover, and all kinds of like sensory things are being activated as you're going through that. And there's also like some puzzle aspects to it, and it's so much fun. We spent 2 hours at Omega Mart, and honestly, it still feels like we just scratched the surface. Like there's still so much more we could have explored or gone in depth with. It won't give too much away because I do want people to kind of go in with like an open mind of what it is without too many details, because it is fun to learn about it while you're there. So I do think Jenny did the right thing of like skimming over it and not going into too much details, because then everything was a beautiful surprise. And Area 15 is really cool. There's other stuff going on. Like I know that there was a bar in the back where they were gonna have an FF14 linked party. I didn't end up going to that event, but I knew that it was gonna happen there. But we did stop at the bar in the center to grab a few drinks, commemorate our experience at Omega Mart, and like get ourselves hyped for XIV Fanfest. That's how we started our day. It was a good start, especially after how bad the previous day was. So it felt good to like finally be vibing. At that point, we had to start getting ready to pick up our badge, but we were getting pretty hungry. We looked for a restaurant that was close-ish to the convention center, and we found this place that was really well rated called Tacos and Beer. Holy crap, not only is the place aesthetically pleasing as all hells, like it's just such a cool space to hang out in, the food was so good. Like we kept telling each other that make it a point not to eat too much because we were going to Din Tai Fung later, but I ended up ordering more tacos because they were just so good that I was like, no, I want more tacos. Whatever, I'll explode later. It doesn't matter. Just a caveat here, we Ubered everywhere because it was so hot in Vegas while we were there. Like it was over 100 degrees, like Fahrenheit. So once we were done with the taco place, we went straight to the convention center and we Ubered there. And the prices of the Ubers are okay. Obviously, you need to prepare somewhat of a budget for it, but if you're traveling with like a few companions, it's not as bad. So we got to the convention center. None of us were dressed up. We were all just in our casual outfits, and we went to go pick up our badge. The line was pretty long, but it was somewhat easy to do. There was a lot of people you could talk to if you needed information. They were dressed like Loporites. Obviously, I've already talked about this. The tickets came with a bag of swag, so that's also when we received that swag while at the same time as picking up the tickets. If you didn't know, in your bag of swag, you also got the possible chance of meeting with a staff member, but it was a lottery system, and if you'd won, it would have been inside your bag. You would have had that letter of invitation. No ticket. So we all took turns going through our bags to see if any of us had won, which would have been really awesome. And unfortunately, none of us won the lottery ticket. We did have on the second day someone come up to us and try to sell their ticket. I don't know how legit that was. I didn't end up buying it because I was just really scared I was getting scammed, to be honest. Like, I don't trust nobody in Vegas. And plus, are they really FF14 people? Like, really, you'd pass on the chance of meeting Yoshi P? Because his invitation was for Yoshi P. I was like, I don't know. It was hella sus to me. And it was right after that we ended up going to a reservation for Din Tai Fung. So there wasn't a lot of time between the tacos and the Din Tai Fung, but it's okay. I love Din Tai Fung. So for those of you who don't know, it is a soup dumpling place that opened in Taiwan. And in Taiwan, the store has a Michelin star. And it's not like a high-end restaurant. It's just really good. So it got a Michelin star and it deserves it. I've had the one in Taiwan and it is so good. Like, it is amazing. So I was really curious to see if the one in Vegas was as good. And my outcome is it's really good. And if you're in Vegas and you've never been to Taiwan and are not going to Taiwan and would like to experience some really amazing soup dumplings, I would recommend it. But no, it is not as good as the one in Taiwan. After that, we took a little bit of a breather, went back to our hotel room, relaxed for a bit, and we're already planning to go to the Dangerous Ladies meetings. For those of you who don't know, Dangerous Ladies is a company that sells like 3D files, either just the files or printed, of different props for cosplay. They make a lot of props for FF14, and a lot of the people there whose props were made by themselves were either made using their files or their 3D printed material. Like me, my staff was entirely their print, and so was a few of the pieces on the costume. They were organizing at the hotel that everybody was staying at a little meet and greet where everybody could go, hang out, and meet people. So we decided not to be complete gremlins and go and try to talk and socialize with people. I mean, I did see a few familiar faces with who I talked. We did chat with some strangers here and there. But the most important part is this, where I met up with my friend Joyce and picked up the hot glue gun to fix my props. So once we wrapped up the hangout at Dangerous Ladies, we went back to our hotel room, and this is where I started the task of trying to repair my props. Actually, to my pleasant surprise, I managed to repair it to a point where it was relatively seamless, especially for the staff. But I was really happy that I had the hot glue and the super glue, because without it, I don't think I would have managed to repair like the heavier pieces that broke apart. All right, I have executed some repairs. It's definitely far from perfect, but it's gonna suffice. The prop will survive the time of the con. I managed to put back on all the little pieces on the stem, and yeah. Thank you, Joyce, for the hot glue. You saved my ass, absolutely. And yep, everything is repaired. We're gonna have a lot of fun tomorrow.
Woo! Yeah!
So a big thank you to my friend for taking the time to lend me her glue gun, because there's no way this would have happened without her. And I also managed to repair the wings. It wasn't completely seamless. Like, obviously you could see the seam, and I didn't have any paint. So where the paint had chipped, I couldn't really repair. But again, it was very discreet. For the most part, you couldn't really see. And all of the pieces held throughout the 2 days of the con. All in all, very happy. The things managed to come together, and everything was ready for the con. So I guess we'll move on to the first day of the con. Day 2 of my trip, first official day of FanFest 2023 in Las Vegas, Nevada. Well, that morning, my husband and I had to get ready to get into our Moogle outfits, because that was the day we decided that we would be going around being little Moogles. My friend Tony and Alex did not have any costumes to wear that day. So if my memory serves me right, and with the confirmation from my friends, Tony was the first one to leave. He left early because he wanted to go check out what the line would look like, or if there would be a line, because we all wanted to attend the keynote speech and the opening ceremony. For me personally, the keynote speech is when they show the first trailer for the upcoming expansion, and we knew it was most likely gonna happen. So we really wanted to make it for that. It was like probably my top priority. So Tony left ahead to go check it out. Turns out there was a huge lineup, so he stayed there waiting for us and keeping our spot in line until we were ready to go join him. So being the cosplayer that I am, I'm always late to everything. So I tried to get ready as fast as possible, but the Moogles do take a little bit of time to put on. So it did take a little bit more time than planned, but we did in fact make it to the keynote on time. We were able to meet up with our friend in line. Luckily for us, Tony was there super early, so we did manage to get some pretty decent seats. Say hi! Actually, we managed to get some seats. For anybody who was there, you know that there was a lot of people huddled around the seating area who were not seated for the keynote speech. And because we got there somewhat early, I actually had to go pee, so I asked to go pee, and the bathroom was like in the back. Yeah, so as I went to go pee, I kind of got to see all of the back area. So essentially, the room was really big. So because I was there early and the floor had technically not opened yet to people, it was super empty. So I got to kind of like look around real quick, like not go into details, but look around real quick and kind of see everything before it got really overcrowded. So that was kind of nice. And then I just went back to my seat. I think I could say without a doubt that being there at the release of the trailer is super, super hyped. Like everybody is just excited and screaming and having a good time, and it was super, super fun. I'm so glad. And obviously they announced the 2 new classes. My initial guess with my friends, we guessed Corsair because it looked like the Warrior of Light was dressed in a pirate outfit, but that was obviously debunked. Since then, they have announced that it is actually Viper. I had to check my notes. It's actually Viper, which I find less interesting personally. And for the second one, for anybody who's familiar with like FF14 lore, if you will, Yoshi P will wear a shirt which signifies a hint to one of the upcoming classes. So one year he had a Children of Bodom t-shirt on, and that's the year that Reaper was announced, and the Scythe was essentially the giveaway. In this case, he was wearing a Ninja Turtles shirt, so we guessed that it might be some form of painter or pictomancer because all of the turtles are named after artists. And I thought that was a really clever hint. And I stood by that because I thought the idea of having a class that would be like a pictomancer or a painter would be super fun. Like I wanted it. But from the last patch, I haven't played the last patch yet, so there's apparently potential hints that it would actually be a green mage, which also works as a hint with the shirt because the Ninja Turtles are also green, I suppose. So that would make sense, but that would make the hint a bit more lame. Like the color of them rather than like them being all named after artists would have been so much more clever. So let me tell you that ever since I recorded this section, the new class has actually been announced, and it is in fact a pictomancer. Yoshi P does not let down. He is a clever man. He knew exactly what he was doing, and kudos to my friend Alex for figuring it out at the convention. 10 out of 10. I can't wait to try this class. So also while we were seated, so there was an app to kind of look over all the activities and things happening. I'll go into a little bit more details a little later in the video on that, but it is through the app that you could apply to do the trial. So we immediately attempted to get in line to do the trial. We were hoping we could all get roughly at the same time. Everybody around us was trying to get in and was squirming and having these weird glitch where you would get in line, the line would reload, so you get in line again, and the line was really long, and everybody was just kind of panicking, thinking they wouldn't be able to reserve a time slot. And with all that chaos, Alex ended up getting a time slot that was much earlier than us because his didn't glitch. Once the ceremony was done and the keynote was done, a lot of people left, including ourselves, because we wanted to go and check out like merch and trial and maybe go check out the back area. And at this point is when chaos just unleashed upon us. At this point, the line management for all the different events was pure chaos. It's not that there was no rhyme or reason, it's just that they ended up being so long and kind of mismanaged that it was impossible to know where to line up, what you were lining up for, and getting in and out of the room itself was absolute chaos. Like the whole thing did dissipate over time. Like obviously it's the first, like things just started, everybody's there. Like room is at full capacity, but it's still like, it felt like there might have been a bit of a security hazard going on here. Like none of this felt on par with potential regulations. Outside of the main room in the back area, there was where the merch was and the trial was, but the lines are so long that they backed up into the line to get into the main room. So it just felt like the lines needed to be managed differently. Like they needed to be redirected somewhere else. I don't know if they just didn't have access to other areas of the convention center floor, but it did not work. Like, it did not work at all. So at that point, our friend Alex kind of left to go do his trial, and me and Tony got out of the room to get a breather, met up with my husband, and then just kind of chilled a little bit away from the rest of the people. So after chilling for a little bit outside, we went back in, and then we decided, okay, we're gonna get in line for the trial. So as we're waiting in line for the trial, and it's a really, really long waiting line, we find out through someone else that you actually need to get in line to the merch table to get a ticket that tells you to come back at another time to pick up your merch stuff, which is just so weird of a system to me. Like, why not just get in line, buy your stuff, and that's it? Like, and it's the same line. That doesn't make sense. Apparently, they were already running out of time slots for that day. We panicked, but another person in line was really kind and was like, actually, my friend got a time slot and already picked up everybody's merch. So would you like my paper for my time slot? Then you'll be able to get in line and just buy the merch. And we were like, yes, kind sir. Oh my God, thank you so much. This will save us a lot of time. We were just so fortunate that that person was willing to give us a ticket, because otherwise there's no way we were gonna get in line and get a ticket, because they were already running out of time slots to buy merch. So you would have had to wait it to the next day. It's not to mention that the time slots to get in line for the trial were like not really matching up anymore, because they were so behind schedule that people were just lining up and just at any time, if you got up there, you just did it. Like, they didn't really check if your time slot was good. It didn't make sense because most people were so backed up anyways, like in terms of time, they like were 2 hours delayed. Whew, it was real chaos. So this kind sir gave us his ticket, but then we were like, okay, well then we have to get in line for the merch table now if we want to meet that time slot. So my husband left us. He waited in line for the merch. Me and Tony are together in line for the trial. And then Alex is in line for the trial, but much more ahead of us. So eventually Alex does the trial. And I was like, I'm done. And I'm like, oh, do you think you can go to meet Jimmy, take his spot in the merch line so Jimmy can come back in line with us and do the trial? So they swapped. So Alex was in line alone, and then Jimmy came to join us. And then we got to do the trial, me, Jimmy, and Tony together, while Alex was all alone, which kind of sucked. And all this took several hours of our time. Like, that was essentially day one, was mostly that, interspersed with like some fun Moogle related stuff, which I will talk about shortly. And like, the trial was fun. Like, I liked the group that we were with, and I was happy. Please don't judge me too hard on this, but even though I play PC, I play controller. They had controllers available in case people play PS3 or PS4 essentially. I was not very good. I'm just gonna say it straight up. I was so anxious, and I just didn't take the time to properly set up my bar. I always get really nervous playing online because strangers online can be kind of dickish, but when you see the people that you might be playing with, even if they're strangers, seeing them in person just gives you another perspective on the fact that, you know, you're just enjoying a game with other fans of the game. So it was nice. I really thoroughly enjoyed the experience. And when we were done, we were gonna go meet up with Alex, but Alex was still in the merch line because it was so long. So we went outside and waited for him, and interspersed with this chaos of line stuff, me and Jimmy as Moogles did go around going up to different cosplayers and delivering mail, which was really, really nice. I got to see a lot of people's fun reactions to the different messages. Some of them laughed, some of them got a little like sentimental, because a lot of the messages were really, really sweet and really, really like profound, because there's a lot of sad stuff that happens in the game. It was really cute to see people's reactions. It's like my favorite thing. But you know who else's favorite thing it is? It's Alex's favorite thing, because Alex is actually the one who wrote almost all of the messages. So he loves to see people's reaction, but throughout the day, he wasn't with us. And I know that he was really disappointed. He was so disappointed. We did make up for that on the second day, but yeah, I'll get to that in a bit. But I don't know if you guys remember, but a while ago I had made original Warrior of Light cosplay, and it had been made for Joe Cat, which does a lot of content related to FF14, and it's kind of like a well-known social media influencer in the FF14 community. I didn't know that at the time. To me, it was just another client for whom I have to do a nice job. When my friends saw him wearing my costume, they were like, wait, you were making a costume for Joe Cat? Do you know who he is? He's pretty big in the community. And I was like, no, I had no idea. It was exciting to find out, but it was also exciting to see him at the event. We ran into him briefly, took some pictures together. I got to see the costume on him, which is always so nice to see, like a creation you've worked so hard on someone, like in real life. I got really, really excited, and obviously I delivered some mail. That was really fun, and eventually we got back into contact with Alex, and I could tell he was really disappointed that he missed a lot of the delivery. I agreed to lend him my costume for the next day. Him and Jimmy, which was not originally planned, were going to wear the Moogles together the next day and continue delivering more mail. He was really excited about it, and it really turned out for the best, and I'll talk more about it when we get to day 2. So I guess after waiting so long for merch, what did we end up buying? The thing I wanted the most was the Charlatan mug. I was like, oh, that'll make for a good souvenir, but also for like good prop. But they had already run out of them, at least the day of. From what I understand, they had a certain amount they'd sell on one day and a certain amount they'd sell on the other day, but there's no way we were making the line again. So I was like, too bad for the mug. So what we ended up getting as a group, my husband and I both got the Fanfest sweaters, which are really cool. Oh no. Obviously, I felt like that was like really one of a kind, and it specifically says Fanfest, so I thought it was like a must-have. My husband also got one of the Loporit shirts and got a second one as a gift for a friend. He also got a wallet, which is really pretty. I really like the design on it, and he needed a new wallet, so, you know, 2 birds with 1 stone. I got the flocked Loporit, which is really expensive, but isn't it like super cute? I really like it, and it's like nice and soft, and it's like really good quality. Though the sewing on the costume itself is okay, like it's not like high quality or anything, but the fig itself I think is really, really nice. Like it's nice and sturdy, and I think he looks really good. And I think that's everything me and my husband got. My friend Tony got like an acrylic stand of a character. I believe it was Alize. I might be mistaken, but he's an Alize boy, so I feel like that's what he got. And my friend Alex got 2, what are they called? Got 2 Mameshiba like neck pillows, one for himself and one for his brother. Actually, that kind of wrapped up day 1. At that point, we were feeling pretty exhausted and obviously getting kind of hangry. So we went back to our room, partially like changed out, and headed back out. Our plan was to eat and then attend the piano concert. Hello. I haven't done any vlogging whatsoever today because we've been too busy waiting in lines. I would call it the line con, but it's still very fun. So what do we do today? We went to the keynote. We actually managed to get seated. It was great. Lots of hype. We got to see the first trailer in person. Everybody was super, super, super hype. So my friend Alex went to do the battle challenge alone by accident. Poor Alex. And then I went later with Jimmy and Tony, and we waited in line, but we were lucky because in line some very nice people gave us their extra like merch pass. Essentially, to get the merch you need to wait in line to get a little coupon that allows you to actually go and buy stuff afterwards, and they had an extra one, so they gave it to us. So we sent my husband in line while me and Tony were waiting for the battle, but then Alex finished the battle, so we sent him in the merch line, and then we did the battle, and then we all reunited, and that was pretty much our day so far. But we're going back, and we're gonna try to get into the piano session, but yeah, that's the day so far. Not everybody made it to the piano concert, and the few of us who did only made it towards the end because we decided to stop to eat at Benihana's. It's on the way there, but we started getting a little drunk. We started feeling a little full. We started feeling very tired. So only me and Alex agreed to go to the concert and kind of catch the end of it. Though being at the Benihana's was kind of fun because everybody on that floor was from, like, were guests from Fanfest. So it was really exciting. I actually got to deliver mail while we were at Benihana's. But yeah, so we went back to the concert venue, and at that point, everybody was either seated towards the front, where the seating area is, or they were seated in the Radzat Han area, which was like a little seating area that is based or decorated according to Radzat Han. I'll go more into details about the different sections of the back area because at that moment, we just kind of went around and skimmed over it. Like there wasn't a lot of people around, so we got to see most of the decor and the entertainment without like the hordes of people everywhere. But all the sections were closed down. Like none of the activities were being run at that point. Like everybody was very much concentrated on the beautiful piano concert. It was a good opportunity to like just look around, see a lot of the art. And at that point, it was just me and my friend Alex. We did run into Yoshipi. I think the piano concert was coming at an end and he probably had a closing speech to do of sorts. Actually, I can confirm he did. Because we were delivery muggles, we prepared a few messages for different staff members, including Yoshipi and like Koji Fox, to deliver in case we ran into them. So I figured this would be my only potential occasion to maybe deliver that mail. He politely said that he did not have time and kept going. So I did not in fact get to meet him. Well, I got to see him, but that's about it. He had to go. But I think overall that was still like a good closing to a first FanFest day. So a really fun thing that happened, like kind of organically, I don't know if this was brought forth like in past FanFest conventions, but when we were going around delivering mail, a lot of people had like trinkets and little stickers to pass around to people. And because we were handing out something ourselves, like we ended up receiving a lot of these little trinkets and little stickers, which was super, super cute. So it would be like little stickers of their war or like a fan fest or some kind of funny little something. And we kept all of them. Ta-da! I made a shadow box of all the stuff that was given to me at FanFest. Okay, I did cheat a little bit because some of this stuff is also from Omega Mart in the corner here, and some of the stuff is from Otakuthon 2023, which is our local convention. But I like to call this my board of FanFest trip and hype, because I feel like a lot of stuff we bought at Otakuthon was FF14 themed because everybody was still on the post FanFest hype. So I still think it works all together. Arguable, I suppose, but I like it. And yeah, if you gave me something that weekend, more likely than not, it made it onto here because I kept everything. I really, really like it. I think it's super cute. And like, it's a good souvenir of like things that happen. And I have to say, I noticed as I was like going through everything that there's a Turtle Smithy sticker here. And I'm a big fan of Melinda Chan's work and also Turtle Smithy as a whole because they're a couple and they work together and they do amazing work. And I would have been really happy to like say hi and compliment their work and whatnot. I didn't do that. So I don't know how this sticker ended up here. My inkling suspicion is that Alex on the second day ran into them and delivered mail and ended up with this. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little jelly. When I saw that, I was like, excuse you, who met Turtle Smithy? Because it wasn't me. And I don't think it was my husband. Thank you everyone for all of the gifts. I will actually profoundly cherish all of this. And it's a really nice momentum of a really, really nice trip. Day 2 of FanFest convention, day 3 of my trip. What was going on in the room so early in the morning? I was getting into my big costume. This one is the Y'shtola one. At the same time, Tony was putting on his costume. He was dressing up as Hermes. And then once I was ready, I was putting both Jimmy and Alex in the costumes for Moogle delivery. So this time we were all leaving together fully dressed up in our costumes. So overall, Y'shtola looked really good. I'm really happy that I was able to fix the pieces I was able to fix, and the rest of the costume made it really nicely. Like there was no problem. The rest of the dress was fine. The boots were fine. Everything came together really well. I was able to put on the lenses that partially blinded me. Like I could still see, but I couldn't see super well. A lot of people kept showing me things and I was like, I can't see what you're showing me. So that day we decided obviously to focus all our time and energy primarily on the back area of the room, which we hadn't been able to see at all the day previous outside of me. So I'm actually gonna open the app. I still have it on my phone. As mentioned earlier, there was an application that you could download which allowed you to keep kind of an eye on everything that was going on, all the activities that were being offered. In the back area, there was 5 main areas themed after different locations in the game. So we had the Gates of the Pandemonium, we had the Island Sanctuary, the Mare Lamentorum, Old Charlian, and the Ratzat Han. Ratzat Han was my favorite personally. It was really pretty. If you walked around, you had these little like quest signs with like people dressed up as gleaners that were there to give you like quests to do. So you could go around and do all these different quests. Spoiler alert, I didn't do many of the quests. I remember doing a few, but it was very vague because I was mostly just in costume and like head empty and just following my friends around. So my commentary might be a little bit sparse here, and I apologize. So I know that for a fact the games that we did end up doing, because I got the badges for them so I can look them up, we did the one for the Pandemonium raid. So the Pandemonium Gates was 2 games. You had like a little outside game and then a little inner game. It was like a pouch game where you throw the pouch and you're trying to hurt the enemy as much as possible. I did horribly, but it doesn't matter. Like, it's just for funsies. And then you had the Mare Lamentorum, which was a dance floor. I liked it. I thought it was super cute. I wish more people were dancing. Like, I would go in and dance a little bit, but then it's kind of embarrassing because nobody else is dancing. So I would come out, and then you could do a little bit of a lineup to go meet the Lopor DJ, when you could take cute little pictures and hang out with him, like just for a bit. And I definitely did that because I loved him. He was amazing. Then you had the Old Charlian section, which was really, really pretty. And I know that on one side you had definitely a game, and on the other side it was like a puzzle. Like you had to figure out a riddle, which we did figure out. And it was, if I'm not mistaken, a section of like Yoshtola's magical girl spell. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a while. I don't really remember. I would have to confirm with my husband. On the other side, we didn't do that activity because the lineups were pretty long. But if I look at my app, I believe that it was either the pick and ship relay or the forbidden tackle fishing. Or maybe it was both. It feels like it was the only area that had water, so it makes sense that both these activities would be in the same area. But I might be wrong. I might be really wrong. Because there was also, in the Ratzat Han area, there was an area to sit down and hang out, which a lot of cosplayers were hanging out in. It was so pretty, honestly. It was definitely my favorite section. But if I remember well, there was another little area right beside it, which had a game. So it would be one of these 2 games. Which game? I don't know. I didn't do it because we didn't line up for this one. We might have had time to do all of them. I think at some point we just didn't care to do all of them. But we did do the little Island Sanctuary game, and those were the main games we did. There was a little cafeteria area. I would not recommend buying food there. Personally, you're in Vegas, and there's a lot of good food elsewhere to buy in Vegas. My hot tip is don't buy food there if you're in Vegas. Mind you, there's no real restaurant like in and around the convention center, so it's still like good in a pickle if you don't want to really go out. But if you're willing to pay an Uber, just go somewhere else. And on top of that, there was a bunch of quests, as I've mentioned. What I can see, there was 6. I don't think I know I finished 1, but I didn't get it tagged, probably because I was in full costume and did not care to really bring my phone around with me. So I wouldn't be able to tell you which one I managed to get through. But if you manage to do at least 3, you could report to like a table and get a little prize, which was a poster, which we got. The trial that we did was considered a badge acquired. So the 3 badge that I have that are like locked in would be the Pandemonium Raid, the Battle Challenge, and the Bumper Crop Paisa, which was the Animal Sanctuary game. You only need 3, so once we got like stamped for 3, we went to get our prize, but we didn't bother to get any other things stamped. I don't know what all the quests did. If somebody did all the quests and all the badges, feel free to share more information in the comment section if you feel like it. But that was my experience with the back area. And the back area was really fun in my opinion. Like, I love how decorated it was. And obviously this is where most of the cosplayers were hanging out. So as we were going around, Alex was having a wild time handing out all the mail was delivered. I don't think a single cosplayer was missed. He would like spot one and shoot for it. And I'm so glad he had such a good time. I went around and asked a lot of pictures with different cosplayers. There was so many amazing people and so many amazing costumes. Kudos to everybody who came dressed up, and I think you all looked amazing, and I'm really happy I got to take some photos. All around, a really good time in the back end of things. Once we were kind of tuckered out, we went back to the hotel room. Most people got out of costume. I just changed into a more casual Yestola outfit. We ordered some food real quick and then went back to the venue because we wanted to wait for the concert. All right, going back to the con, we stepped out for a bit so I could go change into like casual. Honestly, at this point, I don't know if it's Yestola as much as just generic Mikote, but here I am. And we're going back to catch the concert of the Primals. You excited, boys?
Yeah!
So for those of you who don't already know that, the Primals is a band started by Masayoshi Soken, which is the main composer for a lot of Final Fantasy XIV, and Koji Fox, amongst other members, that came together and started their own like metal rock band of songs from the game that Soken has composed. But they're like recomposed to be more metal or more rock or just metal rock. We didn't want to miss out on them, so we made sure to arrive early to get a spot on the floor. We just waited there for about an hour before the concert went on. The concert was great. They're really like energetic and fun to watch in person, and the songs are great. I really, really love them. And we got some new like songs for probably an upcoming album. Because of this, how the stage is, unless you're in the front row, you don't really see much, I'll be honest. And obviously there's a projection in the back, but you don't really see much. I feel like the stage was too low for a concert. Yeah, I think that would be the issue. Like the stage was too low, so had the stage been a bit higher, you could have actually like seen them a bit better, I think. Behind us were a bunch of seated areas, so all the people who were seated, they couldn't see anything because everybody's standing in the front. So there's no way anybody could see anything in the back. But like I said, there was a projection, like a screen in the back, so they were being filmed, so you could see that. But it's just some feedback. But I don't know if they could have done anything about that. Like, I don't know if the venue provided the stage as is, and there was no way to like modify it. But yeah, it would have been nice if the stage was a bit higher. And yeah, that kind of wrapped up the evening, and that kind of wrapped up the evening for everyone, because once the concert was done, everybody started coming out and flooding the streets at the same time. It was just cat girls, bunny girls everywhere, and absolutely like fighting each other for an Uber. It was so hard because there was a huge lineup of Ubers, so finding your Uber was particularly hard. We had to tell our Uber driver like, hey, do you see a girl with white hair and white cat ears? But even then, that kind of is not the best indicator because everybody was dressed up, right? As cat girls specifically. It was insane. And it gave birth to the most iconic of posts, in my opinion, on Reddit, which I will share here in all its glory. And I don't know how true it is, but regardless of whether or not it is fully true, I thoroughly enjoyed this post. And it is very accurate to like just how chaotic it was coming out. So it's just because they had nothing planned afterwards, everybody exited the convention center at the same time. So I guess it could have been avoided, but I just think it made for a lot of funny moments, and I don't really mind it personally. And yeah, that kind of ended everything. We took an Uber to go eat at the Korean barbecue that we were supposed to eat at on the day we landed, but it landed too late to go. And it was called Hobak. And if ever you're in Vegas, I do recommend it. It was great. It's delicious. 10 out of 10. Would recommend. And I will go back again next time I'm in Vegas. I think that wraps up everything for the video today. So I'm going to give you guys my final thoughts and wrap up the video. I think I might have went into a lot of details here, but hopefully it gives you a good idea of like how everything went, and my personal impressions are pretty positive. I really enjoyed it. I did not enjoy the heat of Vegas, but at least everything inside is well air conditioned. So I was able to thoroughly enjoy myself, even in full cosplay, even partially blind on Sunday. I love that I got to spend time with some of my besties and like see a friend from California that I don't get to see very often. I also got to meet some people that I only knew from online social media. I think it's always fun to get to bond with people who live a bit further over something that you mutually like. Would I go again? Yeah, I personally will definitely be attempting to go again. I think it would be fun to go, maybe try to go to the one in Europe. Seems to be a little bit different, but otherwise I'll stick to the one in the US. I personally thought it was really fun. I like that the first trailer teaser you find out at the one in the US, which I think there's so much hype for. I would go again. I enjoyed it. I don't know everybody's impressions on that. I know some people did not enjoy themselves as much as I did, but I had fun. And I know that a lot of people did. So I hope this gives you an idea of what to expect. As per usual, if you want to check out more of my cosplay stuff, you can check me out on Instagram, or you can go support me on Ko-fi, where I post most of my pictures in an uncropped format. If you like this video, give it a like, and you can subscribe to check out more of my content. Hopefully things won't always be taking this long to come out. It's been so long since the convention happened, but I just haven't had time to do any of this because I had work to catch up on, and then there was Halloween, and then there was my Japan trip, so it just whirlwind of things to take care of before I could even get to the FanFest vlog. I think that wraps up today's video. So thanks for stopping by and checking it out. Hope you'll want to stick around for the next one. And yeah, bye.